Okay, so your doctor says that you've got adhesive capsulitis and your motion is really restricted and you're ready to get going. Here are some of my favorite exercises that I use to help my patients to get their mobility back. Okay, so the first one I do here is called pendulum. So the affected side in this example is going to be the left side. What I suggest to do is to get a small hand weight. I'm using about a 5-pounder, but a 3 to 5 pounder will work. What I'm going to do here is just kind of bend over here, nice straight back. So put your opposite hand on a supportive surface, and then the affected side here, I'm going to create motion with the hips. Notice I'm not doing this. That's not what you're going to want to do. You're going to create motion with your hips and just let the arm kind of swing back and forth here. When you create that motion, it's really, the weight is really kind of pulling that shoulder, kind of just gently giving a little distraction, and then that mobility is kind of just rocking it back and forth. This is a nice way to kind of warm up the shoulder. It's very comfortable. And like I said, again, create motion with the hips. You could kind of swing it in a circle here, clockwise, counterclockwise. And again, the biggest thing here is it's not this, it's create the motion with the hips and let that shoulder go with the hips, okay? All right, the next one here that I really like is gonna take a little piece of equipment. What we're gonna do is use the stability ball. You've seen these, they're at the gym, you probably have one at the house and such. So in this example, again with the left arm here, what I'm gonna do here is just let this ball kind of roll it out and just get a nice stretch here. Okay, stretching back and forth. And you really let pain be your guide here. So as you're doing this, it might want to get to there and it gets a little sticky, that's fine. Kind of just use the shoulder muscle to kind of pull the arm back, but just kind of let it glide out. Let the ball do all the work here. And you're just gliding it out and forth here. I like to do about 25 reps here, or even if you don't want to count, just do it for a few minutes. You can do it for a little bit and then come back to it as well. But I like this one kind of number 2 in the sequence, okay? And then finally, what we're gonna do is work on one of the motions that is really restrictive, and that's what we call external rotation, going outwards, okay? That motion is important to get back this motion. If you wanna raise your hand over your head, you've gotta have this motion, okay? So a lot of times I'll start folks out in a seated position. I might even have them have a pillow here so the shoulder can be supported. We're gonna create this 90-degree angle right through here. And we're gonna work on trying to get back that motion there, okay? That external rotation. So what I have here is just a walking stick, and I'm gonna put that in one hand here, and then I've got a little rubber band, and I'll show you what we're gonna do with that as well. So in this, we're just, again, like the other ones, we're gonna be doing kind of a passive stretch, but we're also gonna try to turn on the rotator cuff at the same time here. So we're gonna sneak in a little strengthening as well. So in this example, we're working on that left shoulder again. The pillow's there just to support it, so you're not doing this. A lot of people, when it's painful, will hike up. What we want is a little bit of support so that shoulder is nice and relaxed. We're gonna keep that elbow to the side here, and we're gonna let the right arm, in this example, give a little push outward here. Now, when you have a stiff adhesive capsulitis shoulder, you're not gonna be just flaring this thing out. It might just go maybe to here. But what we're gonna work on is just starting to encourage that to go outwards. So I'm letting the right arm do the work. I'm pushing this out, and once it gets to a moderate stretch, then I'm gonna hold right there. I've got this yellow rubber band that's starting to stretch out, and I'm gently pushing into that band. So now I'm turning on the rotator cuff, some of the important muscles of the shoulder there, which is really nice, and then I'll bring it back, okay? So here we go again. We're gonna gently push it out. The band's stretching, so I'm turning on that cuff a little bit as well. Good. And then we're gonna bring it back. So I like to hold each of these stretched for about 10 seconds or so, okay? And I'm gonna show you one other little tip that you can do too. As I push this out, we're gonna hold for that 10-second count. The last thing I'm gonna do is actually give a little resistance. I'm right now trying to push back into the walking stick here. I'm resisting with the right hand, but I'm pushing in here. So now I'm getting the other side of the rotator cuff. Okay, does that make sense? So we're doing an isometric where I'm pushing in, I'm engaging part of the cuff there, and then I relax, and then I can push out a little bit more. So we're just kind of confusing the nervous system, if you will. Okay, so we're trying to just get sneaky and just really try to get this motion, this external, this going out motion improved here. Okay, so this one's going to be a great one for you. If you don't have the rubber band, don't sweat it. I think the big takeaways here is get a stick, a PVC, a cane, what have you, and just work on going out in a comfortable range. Hold it for 10. Give a little push back into the stick for about 3 seconds to get that cuff turned on, and that's 1 rep. And let's work on 10 to 15 of those, okay? This can be done up to 3 times a day. It can be done at the office, can be at your home, wherever. These are really good, and I hope you find some use in them.